Hola a todos y buenos días. Welcome to Lección 4, and wrapping it up, I'm going to point out some of the common mistakes that I've been finding just to better help you while you take your test today. So spelling is huge for us, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, there are some simple things that change meaning, but as we progress and we learn a little bit more at a time, a simple accent and some spelling is going to change completely the meaning of your statements. So don't forget the el, the subject pronoun, right here, versus el, the definite article, tú, the subject pronoun, versus tú, the possessive adjective, a plus the masculine singular definite article. You should be spelling it as al, as well as de plus el as del. So again, these are small things that make a big difference. If you're still having troubles adding your accents in your computer, you need to email me. I have a couple of videos that I can share with you to help you with that. Accents, and spelling, please. All right, pronunciation. Pronunciation also changes the meaning of everything, and we've talked about the fact that vowels in Spanish always sound the same. It's not like in English where you, depending on the word, they sound a little bit different. So, for example, when you say tengo hombre, you're saying I have a man, versus tengo hambre, I am hungry. So when you're seeing a word for the first time, let yourself say that out loud a couple of times. Make sure that you're pronouncing every vowel. Every vowel needs to be pronounced, and every vowel needs to be pronounced correctly. Make sure that your e and your e are pronounced separately. Tienes, vienes. Okay, so keep an eye on your pronunciation. And if you're ever curious about a word, I know that many of the translating websites can have the button to click for you to say it out loud, or you can email me and I can send you a little recording. So pronunciation, feedback. When you're completing your activities, I take time to go through and leave you specific feedback that explains to you why you received a particular score or what you should be improving, or just good inside information and reminders. Oh, hey, you're forgetting how to do, how to tell time, or how to tell at what time something is. So please take a moment and look through your activities, especially those where you're writing or where you're answering questions and stuff like that, to help you a little bit better. So that's feedback. Review before you work. So what I mean by this is to make sure to click on that grammar explanation to refresh your memory about the structures that are expected to be used on the activity. Because sometimes I'm seeing that you're not going with what is expected, so you kind of miss the opportunity to practice those structures and master those structures. So when you get to an activity like this one, for example, fill in the blanks with the correct forms of the verbs from the list. It really doesn't tell you much in that part, right? So click on that grammar explanation. And, oh, okay, we're talking about the stem changing verbs. That's why we have almorzar, encontrar, and stuff. Another strategy that I use a lot is when you have a verb bank or a word bank, go through. Tell yourself what the meaning of those verbs are, and particularly for this activity, what should you look for? So almorzar, oh, okay, this is the O to UE stem changer and stuff like that. And also remind yourself that because we're talking about the present tense, okay, right here the explanation is only reminding you of the stem changers. You might want to go back to your notes and review the present tense. So use the little grammar explanation button for your advantage. Visit the grammar explanation and be reminded of, okay? So in those grammar explanations, you can also see things that you might have forgotten. So there was a lot of issues with the verb poder versus perder. So it's poder is to be able to do something, and perder is to lose. Poder is an O to UE, and perder is an E to IE. So there was quite a bit of issues with this particular verb. The verb to go, we talked about the verb to go in structure 4.1. There's two different ways in which you can use the verb to go. You can go somewhere, so to a location. So you can, yo voy a la escuela, always include the article in the location. O tú vas a la cafetería. O nosotros vamos a la clase. Or you can go to do something, okay? And so the verb to go is the one that is conjugated to represent the action of the subject. However, that second verb of the things that you go to do stays in the infinitive, okay? So something like, nosotros vamos a estudiar. O ellos van a comer. So that first verb, ir, to go, conjugated to the subject, while the second one stays in the infinitive. Negative statements. So negative statements can be double negatives because there are technically two independent clauses. Do you want French fries? No. No is a statement on itself. But then you can say, no, I don't want to eat. Okay? No quiero comer. The no is placed before the verb. Okay? So double negatives in Spanish are welcome and almost like expected. So don't be afraid of the double negatives. What else can we be reminded? Su. Su is a possessive adjective to express that it's his or hers or its, and it is not a subject pronoun. So some of us are using su instead of él to represent he, ella, or represent she, and some of us are still kind of using this ello, which does not exist. So su is a possessive adjective, ello doesn't exist. Days of the week and months of the year are not capitalized in Spanish. So when you're expressing that you do something on a particular day, you need to use the definite article el or los. So days and months of the week are all masculine. So for example, yo traigo la computadora el lunes means that I'm going to bring my computer on Monday. Okay? But if we say nosotros traemos los libros los martes, it almost becomes a routine that on Tuesdays is when you bring your computers. Okay? So months and days of the week are all masculine. And so we need their definite articles or indefinite articles if you want to say a Monday or a Tuesday. But you need to include those. And don't capitalize. When you get to an activity, another reminder, if you see this little apple, okay, click on it. It gives you feedback from me. It tells you more instructions about the activity itself that I want you to please keep in mind when completing that activity, okay? So for example, on this particular one, okay, you may only use the component once. Do not forget that you're using stem changing verbs in the present tense. You must conjugate the verb to reflect what the subject does, because when some of you guys were combining it, you were leaving the verbs as they were given in the infinitive, so it wasn't given a correct statement. So find the apple in all the activities that you're doing. Find the apple. All right. And always get in the habit of always, no matter what the activity, answer in complete sentences. It helps you practice sentence structure. It helps you see and hear a complete sentence. And it helps you master all the things that we've been working with of gender agreement, number agreement, where the verb goes, where the negative note goes. All those items are very, very, very important to continue to practice as much as we can. Okay, so before we are done, I promised you that the test code would be here. And so this is the password for today's test, L4T, capital L, 4, capital T.